Good morning. I'm back in my quiet, still place here this morning. I was just a lovely little spot just at the back of the beach. It's a little rainforest, quite an interesting area here really. There's the town, but there's a buffer zone of maybe, what would it be? Not huge, but in this area it's probably about 150 metres, maybe 200 metres of bushland in between the beach and the houses, and then it goes further up the coast. It stretches right in, and pretty amazing. But heaps of bush around here. They've done well to maintain it and to keep it. Anyway, this is a beautiful little rainforest spot in here, and come through here to find places of stillness. I was interestingly, after yesterday, I was sharing a few messages on anxiety and PTSD and depression and stuff that really has affected me in a lot of ways, and stuff that's stuck with me and really hindered me growing so often. And I was sharing quite a few things on that, and how finding peace in the still spot, the still place, has been such a really helpful and powerful, life-changing thing for me. So last night I was really challenged on that. I got back home last night, and a situation arose with our business where it was I'd made a bit of a stuff up, that was the story, and I had to sort of really apologise to this particular person, and it kind of rocked me a little bit for a moment and sort of stirred up a bit of stress. But due to the fact that I'd been focusing on stillness within and quiet, I was able to sort of sort the situation out, and rather than kind of getting into a stress state, which often does happen when you have to, it's a confrontational type situation. It can kind of rock you a fair bit. I was able to calm down really quickly. It was quite good actually, but I was really quite tested with that. And then another situation came up this morning, first thing, and I was like, what do you do with this stuff? Okay, you let it go, let it go. So just as I got here this morning, I was encouraged. The Spirit was sort of talking to me about just breathe in the good, breathe out the rubbish, breathe out the crap, breathe out the garbage that holds you back. Breathe out the feelings of angst or stress or pressure or whatever it is that are affecting you, and walk on. Check this out. How good is this? Look at this invitation here to walk on. Just keep walking upward. Great analogy, great little picture there of the spiritual journey. Here we go. We start here, we've come down, but we're going to walk up, and walk up out of the problems, walk up out of the stress, out of the anxiety, and just calm the heart again to start the day. So it's like, 7:30, 8 o'clock or something, and you can just hear the birds around me. It's just so beautiful here. But the main point is that I have the opportunity, I have the power within myself to change and to leave behind anxiety and fear, and to grow as a person to the point where it doesn't control me. And that's my journey over the last 20, 30 years, is to attempt, faultingly mind you, to attempt to take on the battle and to win. To win the battle and the struggle over anxiety and fear and depression, and to put that behind me so that I can, serve the purpose that I'm called to here on this earth, and to, make the most of my time, the years that I have been given. Like I've had some pretty serious sickness over the last 30 years, so it's hindered me quite a lot. But even in that, I know that I can still have use and function in this world. I can still have value. I can still add value to other people's lives. I can still, have an impact. Even with the limited time that I have in my day, as someone who's got chronic fatigue, I only have sort of my day up till maybe 1 or 2 o'clock, and then for the afternoon I'm pretty much wrecked most days. But that's my lot. Everyone's got a lot. Everyone's been given something. Everyone's been given, a calling. Everyone's been given a set of gifts and talents, and there's so much that could be done with what you have, even within the limitations of your life. So I'm just wondering, what can you do today? What can you do this week? What can you do this year ahead that might be I guess, taking you out of your comfort zone. Maybe you've been driven in there for one reason or another, maybe by anxiety, by fear, by circumstances. You've become discouraged, burned out. Maybe you've been pushed down or pushed under in a sense. Well, how can you rise out of that this year? How can you sort of come up out of that and begin to ascend again towards your, God-given destiny? Really worth considering. It's good. It's a good time to do that. It's the start of a new year, before everything gets into the crazy come the end of January, starting of February. Time to reflect and to think about, how can I do better than I did last year? Not to perform more or to look better, but how can you fulfill your calling better? How can you fulfill that which you are? How can you become more of what you should be, what you already are inside, but as may have been put down at some points? So how can you become that person, that true self that you really are? So worth some reflection, and this is what I'm doing as I come down here into these parts of the world, and it's just so, I guess it's easy to reflect here. Maybe for where you are, it's not as easy. Maybe you don't have that space that you can get to that's quiet and reflective like this, but perhaps you can find a space within your house, in your backyard, somewhere that's close by a local park, and just get out and, I guess, broaden your horizons again. Maybe you've been shut down in 2020, maybe you've been held in, maybe you've been in lockdown, you've been pushed down, and maybe your spirit feels like it's in lockdown as well. It's time to sort of break out into 2021. So I wish you well. I hope that you can find that within you to step out. I talked yesterday about the power that you have deep down within you. You don't need to go out and look for it elsewhere. You don't need to go and find it somewhere else. It's already there, deeply within you, and you can find that place of rest and hope, and out of that you can begin to revision and find new hope and encouragement to, I guess, push through, to take on some of the challenges that might feel like they're a bit large for you and overwhelming. You can do it. You've got this thing. Thanks for listening.